All right, so what in the world could touching your toes have to do with golf? I'm Joe. I'm a physical therapist and a strength coach, and I'm the owner of Pure Drive Physio and Performance, and I specialize in working with golfers improve their body so they can play the best golf of their life. So let me ask that question again. What could touching your toes possibly have to do with golf? I mean, besides trying to get the ball out of the hole, it doesn't make a ton of sense why a golfer would require to touch their toes. They're never down there doing that at any other point. However, it's not really about going down to touch the toes as it is about hinging from your hips, okay? So for you to touch your toes properly and appropriately, you have to be able to hinge at your hips. And that is vital in the golf swing. That is exactly what golfers do when we get into our golf posture to swing a club, right? So when we're in this position, we're hinged at the hips, pushing our hips back behind us. And that motion right there allows us to get down and touch the floor and touch our toes. A lot of times people don't hinge at their hips and just try to bend from their upper back and their arms to get down and touch their toes. And then what happens is they're not able to touch their toes because their brain tells their body that their head is going to go down and hit the floor. So what happens is your brain tightens up the muscles along the backs of your thighs and your butt to stop you from falling forward, and that gives that sensation of feeling tight in your hamstrings, when in reality you're not tight. Your body's just not letting you get down that far because it's afraid that you're going to hit your head. When in reality, to touch your toes, you need all of these muscles back here to relax so you can go down to touch your toes. And again, so why is this important in the golf swing? So again, we're going to want to maintain that hinge position. And when you watch professional golfers or even long drivers, right, they come back and they stay in that hinge position. And then even when they come back and go down into their downswing, they're going to stay in that hinged position almost until impact, and then they start to stand up, right? So if you can't maintain that hinged position as you're going, and let's say you early extend, come closer towards the ball during your downswing, you're going to lose some shots, and then you have to do some other things with your arms to get the club back on path. You can lose consistency with your shots, and you're definitely going to lose a lot of power and distance on all of your shots as well. So being able to maintain that hinge throughout the swing is vital for your golf success. So I'm going to show you a quick less than 5 minute way to improve your ability to touch your toes. Now, yes, this will work for a majority of people, but there are going to be some people who have special circumstances that this will not work for. But again, like I said, for the majority of people, if you give this a try, you'll be able to touch your toes. So all you need is a fairly thick book, or you can use a 2x4 or anything along those lines, and a pillow. So I would suggest maybe doing this in a corner in case you do feel like you're going to fall, you can grab on. So you're going to put your heels up on that book or that 2x4, take the pillow and put it in between your knees, okay? So throughout this drill, you're going to be squeezing the pillow together with your knees, and you're going to go down and try to touch your toes. Now, if you can't go all the way down and touch your toes, that's okay. Try to go down as far as you can, and then bend your knees as much as you need to touch those toes, okay? And then hold for a few seconds, and then you'll just come back up. And then I would repeat that 10 to 15 times. As you continue to go down, hopefully you're going to start to go further and further and need to bend your knees less and less. But if you still need to bend those knees, that's okay. But try to go down as far as you can without bending those knees. And then as much as you need to, bend those knees so you can get down and touch those toes. Being able to do that and bending your knees will show your brain that it's okay to be down in that position, even with your knees bent. So after you're done doing that 10 to 15 times, what you're going to do is just flip it around. You're going to put your balls of your feet onto the book or the 2x4 that you're using. Put the pillow again in between your knees and squeeze throughout the drill. Same thing. You're going to go down and try to touch your toes. If you can't go all the way down, that's okay. Keep squeezing, bend those knees just as much as you need to go down and touch those toes. Hold for a few seconds and then come back up. And then we're going to repeat that process 10 to 15 times. And then when you're all done, you should hopefully notice that you should be able to go down and touch your toes. If you can't go down and touch your toes, that's okay. This may take a little bit of time to teach your brain and your body how to do it appropriately. But hopefully you're getting further than when you first started. Okay, so give this a try. Again, for the majority of people, I guarantee that this is going to help you touch your toes in no time, okay? And again, it's very important for us to maintain this hinge position throughout the golf swing to make sure that we're being consistent and getting the most distance out of every shot. And again, remember, the hinge and touching your toes is not actually about going down, but it's more about pushing our hips back behind us so we can maintain that hinge position. Again, if this didn't work for you, please send me an email. I'll put that down below, or contact me on my website, which you'll see at the end of this video. And reach out to me. We can schedule a free call to figure out what your situation is so you can touch your toes, maintain that proper hinge, and play the best golf of your life. Because when you feel great, you golf great.